Welcome back to another episode. It took way too long to get this one out, I know. But hey, we're here to build a brand, and sometimes building a brand takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and it does take you away from doing other avenues, such as the podcast. All right, guys, we are live, and I'm so excited. Today's episode is going to be a good one, and we are talking about brands. Fundamentally, that's what the idea is about. Branding can cause a lot of discomfort for a lot of people. Why? Because there's a lot of misconceptions about how to build a brand. How to build a brand, your brand, not every brand. Every brand is different. Every brand needs different attention, different focus. Where do you want to implement perhaps your client, which platforms, which mindset. Very complicated. But hopefully after this one, we can simplify it for you. So here's the gist. But so if anyone doesn't know me, that maybe we'll start there. I am Stefano, normally known as Hey Guys Stefano here on Instagram at TTL Films. It's a shameless plug, but we have to do it. Why? Because this is building brand. See where I'm going with this, guys? Building a brand from the ground up takes a lot of work. However, you have to put yourself in the mindset of what you want to show someone that's never seen you before. Okay, you know that your brand is amazing. You know that you're amazing. You know that you can make $200 million a year. At least that's what we all want to believe. The reality isn't so kind. The reality is our brand sometimes doesn't get recognition. It doesn't get the viewers that we want, the followers that we want, the interaction that we want. The engagement isn't there. So how can we go about doing this? How can we build a strong brand that shows promise? You know, essentially that's what we have to do. We have to show promise in what we're doing. So this way, every day we know that we're moving closer to our ultimate goal, and that is the overall success and growth of our business. So building a brand, let's start right from the gates. A lot of people think that the more content you have, the better it is. You're going to put out a lot of content. A lot of people are going to engage you, and then eventually you're going to get that one viral photo and video or something. I'm a strong believer that when you build content, okay, because I build content for a lot of my clients, when you build content, the structure behind it, the idea, the mindset behind it has to be moving forward, not just put it out. You need to have a certain scheduling, a certain mindset, a certain path in which you want to take. Just because you have a cell phone, just because you have the ability to use free social platforms such as Instagram, it doesn't mean that you should smash 100,000 photos and videos and incoherently just posting it because people will see it and like it. That's not the way it works. What happens is you become a bit of a nuisance to people's feeds. It just becomes a very it becomes messy, guys. You know, if you notice one thing, how about this? Go through your own Instagram and go through all the people that you follow and they follow you, and then you start seeing what they're doing on a daily life. Now, I'm not talking about the personal account. Look at some of the business accounts that you follow, even some of the big ones, like if you go to Fendi, Gucci, all these big guys, they don't know how to market at all. They've missed the boat so far. So this is our opportunity to take advantage. The small people, small brands are doing much better than the bigger brands, and that's just facts. If you want to cross-check it, you can cross-check it. Their viewership, according to followers, doesn't make any sense. It's terrible engagement. So talking about us, we are in the best time to produce. So now when you look at other people's feeds, there are times where you're just going to quickly scroll by. Why? Because it is boring. It's just content. For all the people that go through platforms, news platforms, Google, Yahoo, anything, the New York Times, which I'm sure no one does, but these kind of websites where you can get your information, even Twitter, it's just a lot of noise. You're not going to go through every single article. You're not going to go through every single photo. You're not going to see it all. So, there was big Oscar buzz that just happened because the Oscars were yesterday. If you're listening to the podcast, if you're listening to the podcast on February the 25th, which is today, 2019, you'll know perfectly well that the Oscars were here. Now, the timing that I did this is irrelevant because the branding is still always there. You have a lot of outlets for news. It doesn't mean you're going to read it all. So building a brand is essentially the same thing. You have to engage your audience. So you're on Instagram. You have a series of photos. Now, look at those photos. Look at those posts that you're about to do. If you feel like you're offering something of value, which essentially will bring value to your business, that's where you have to go. You have to see if there's value in what you post. You can't just post everything, because you will become the ultimate demise of your own brand. Why? Because people will mute your posts and stories, and that will happen because Instagram has this feature, and I do it myself, so there are people that will do it. So you have to produce engaging content. Now, if you are dealing to the if your audience is the customer, you're not doing B2B, business to business, you're doing B2C, okay, business to customer or business to client. You want to show them something that they just can't live without. So if you are, if you're doing landscaping, okay, and I'm going to use something generic. This is not pointing the finger to any of my other clients or anyone that's following me that does landscaping. Landscapers, you have a very small window. The window, especially here in Canada, in Toronto primarily, you have a window from April, if it's decent, or May, till about September, give or take. And then the cold weather starts coming, and then landscaping becomes a very difficult business to sell. So in that time, you have to advertise it in a way where people will find it that, you know what, yeah, I do need this, or I do need that, or I do need to still follow this because maybe they got some great tips on how to keep my lawn looking great, or maybe they have some brand new, stone that would look absolutely incredible. It doesn't cause, weeds to pop out. It's just, there's a whole lot of things that they can do, but you got to engage your audience that way, right? So building a brand, you need to be very coherent in what you want to showcase. So that's the first step in building a brand. Now, the story for building a brand can go so deep. I've done workshops and I've done seminars, webinars that last hours upon hours upon hours, and really days. I can just talk forever about it. Now, why am I so-called a quote-unquote expert enough that I could do a podcast on it? Well, I'm going to tell you something, my friends. When you start from nothing, like I did, and you build yourself into a reputable brand, myself, on Instagram, where people message you every single day to do work, even questions. They want you to mentor them. I mean, I get this a lot. So because I get this, hell, you know what? Maybe it's working. Whatever I'm doing, it seems to be working. So I have no problem passing on the knowledge to you, because this way you can be successful and I can be successful. That's the idea behind it. So you got to have really, really good content. Now, the other thing you have to really watch out for when it comes to branding is color schemes. Funny enough, a lot of people tend to miss this. Some of my clients, I won't say who, but their color schemes, the color schemes are on point. They have it down to a science. It's clean, it's crisp, and it's consistent. Consistent, guys, consistent. Don't have an amazing color scheme now, and then in March, April, May, June, you're changing it constantly. Blue, red, yellow, white. Don't do that. If your color scheme is red and white, then red and white is what it has to be, period. End of story. You have to stay consistent. Now, a lot of people, such as my own personal account, I'm sporadic. Now, you're thinking to yourself, but Stefano, if you're telling me to stay with the color scheme, how come you're not? I'm a little different. I do video content. I do content for the web. I don't believe in my own particular business, my branding idea, my platform that I've built. A color scheme doesn't matter on my end. Why? Because I deal with such a wide variety of businesses. There is no color scheme that would make any sense. It's not like I'm a portrait photographer. That's all I do, and I do nothing else. I am a brand. I'm an agency, right? For example, that I do video content, I do photos, I do graphic designs, I do all kinds of animations. It's so wide that I think my own version of what I need to produce is really good content to a variety of people, where they have a selection to see what can be. Now, if they want further information, you can gladly point them into the direction of your client. Now there they can see the fruits of your labor in an organized, structured fashion. See, that's the difference, my friends. When people come to your account, when people come to your business, it's kind of like what I posted today on my stories on Instagram. I said, even if you don't have a business, okay, even if you don't have a storefront business, it doesn't matter, because nowadays online branding, if people love what you do, they don't care if they can come in and see you. They just want it done. So whether you go to them or they come to you and you're from your home, it doesn't matter, because you're going to kill it in what you do. So that's why it's very crucial, those first few minutes that they see your Instagram account, primarily Instagram, because I always feel Instagram is the number one leading platform. They have to see something coherent, something clean, something crisp, and something direct to what they need. So they're not confused, and they know that you are a person that takes real pride in building your brand. So that's my 2 cents on the core fundamentals. Okay. So I'll end this podcast, and I don't want to completely smash people with information. I don't think that the brain registers very well if you're just going in 100 directions for one certain thing. I think we should break down things properly, because it's a podcast. It's a show that we can consistently come back to and grow from. So the one thing that I want to make it perfectly clear is you need a color scheme that's what you want, tailored to what you want, but it's also enjoyable for others to see, and it has to be consistent. You need to build content, not content, general, random, anything content, a structured, planned analysis content where you know that it's engaging, it's informative, and whether it 1 person out of 2,000 people enjoy it, is that great? It's not great, but you're going the right way. You're getting the engagement. If no one's engaging in your posts, if you have 3,000 followers and you're getting about 10 likes, provided that you didn't get any fake stuff, any fake followers, that means your engagement is terrible and something is wrong. You got to start to clean up your act and restructure yourself. However, if you have 2,000 followers and you're getting over 100 likes and you're getting over 20 comments, you know what? You're talking good numbers. That's good engagement. That's really good engagement. And now you got to keep a good eye, and this is where I'm going to end this podcast. You got to keep a good eye on who you're engaging, who's engaging back, and who's consistently engaging back. And that's where your primary focus has to be. Don't look for the quick buck. Look for a long-lasting relationship that quick buck becomes a set income for you, a steady flow of income that you know that every month, if you do your homework and you plan it correctly, that client will always, or that customer will always keep coming back, because you're consistent, you're honest, you're humble, and you're working hard to make sure that you're engaging in the proper way. Okay, guys, branding, engagement, it's all there. It all makes sense. Follow me at TTL Films, of course. I'd love to answer any questions, and you know that I will, and I'm quick to engage. Why? Because I need to show you that it does work, and believe me, it does work. All right, my friends, we will see you next episode. Take care.